Welcome to ZoomTV, the show where we explore everything that flies, drives and floats and invite you along for the experience. Our mission is to give you information so you can make a more informed purchasing decision. On today's show, we check out the new Subaru Forester with rally driver and Subaru ambassador, Dean Herridge.
First thing we'll do, we're going to put in the X-Mode. X-Mode's designed that when we do some four-wheel driving, the car will actually help with descent control. It'll make sure it's getting maximum traction to the wheels that don't have traction.
Last week, City Toyota gave away a brand new Toyota Corolla and we were there to see it happen. This week, we're going to introduce you to the car.
Toyota has elevated the 2014 Corolla sedan to a new level. It's one of the best equipped cars in its class for the money.
Ross Dunkerton's been given a Volkswagen Polo to drive thanks to the guys at Wangara Volkswagen.
It's going to be interesting to see how good this car really is.
And our celebrity hitchhiker today is Subaru ambassador, rally driver, Dean Herridge. What is your opinion of the best car on the road and why?
I love the GT Liberties. So what I think I like about the GT is it's almost one of those cars with a bit of luxury involved.
Welcome to ZoomTV. I'm at the Subaru test track, which is located just close to Perth International Airport with famous rally driver Dean Herridge. Dean, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
I'm good, Dean. Now, I've got to tell you, driving into this track is pretty intimidating. It looks pretty full on. How are we going to go?
You'll be fine. One, we've got a driver aid to help you here, an X-Mode, which I really want to show you through here. Fantastic road car, but also very good off-road.
How about we get in the car, you drive around the track, and then I'll have a crack after you and see how I go as a rally driver.
Sounds like a plan.
So which one? Can we take the black one?
Pick anyone you like.
Well, I would like the black one. Black's better. I look better in black.
Okay, mate. First thing we'll do, we're going to put in the X-Mode. That's going to be the big ticket item as we run around here on the four-wheel drive track.
Okay, now, X-Mode.
X-Mode's designed that when we do some four-wheel driving, the car will actually help with descent control. So it'll put on the brake if we're not inputting some of that to try and give you a nice leveled approach. And also things like when we're scrambling through some of the hills and bits and pieces, it'll make sure it's getting maximum traction to the wheels that don't have traction. And at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that you would normally be taught from driver training point of view is inbuilt with this technology. So you get that advantage. You don't have to be a professional four-wheel drive person to be able to really put this car through its paces and enjoy what it can do for you. So we're at the top of a mound here. You can see quite a steep descent. I can't even see over the bonnet. I'm going to take my foot off the brake and just let the car control our descent. And you'll see what happens. So my feet are completely off. You can hear straight away the car's now doing all that for us. ABS working and allowing us through down here, and I haven't even touched anything to do with the pedals yet. We've gone through our descent. This is a pretty steep climb. I can see the road level from here. It's undulated. So same thing with, now we don't need the descent control, but as we come up through here, the X-Mode will actually help us control the scramble and allow to make sure that the wheels that have got the traction are getting the most to get us through and up and over some of these undulations. And once again, I'm actually not controlling this descent, the car's doing it for us. But the nice thing, even though we have technology, if I want to override that or I want to control the speed, I can, and that's the advantage. There's a non-obtrusive sort of assistance with us, so that's the other thing about it. You can still, and are still in full control.
I can actually feel the energy, the torque being chucked around the car.
Absolutely, and that's what it's doing. It's putting maximum drive to the wheels that need it, and that's what you'll see from the outside, the stiffness of the chassis, but also the suspension working, and that's when we need the traction to come in play. You know, it needs to make sure that the wheel that's spinning in the air is not doing any good for us, so it takes the traction away from that. So
overall, Dean, what would be your personal opinion of the XT and what Subaru's done with it?
Well, normally the XT for me, it's the turbocharged model. I'm obviously coming from STI and WRXs. To me, it's the SUV WRX, which has been fantastic on the road. One with the stiffer body, it drives on the road the best I've ever felt a Forester. But now, we've always known it's strong on off-road, but I think this adds to it.
Well, mate, thank you very much. I want you to get out of that seat. Now, if you want to see how I go on the Subaru test track, stick around because later in the show, I give Dean a lesson on how to drive the XT. That's coming up on ZoomTV. Right now, Ian Diffin City Discount Tyres are on the hunt for 10 lucky winners to attend a performance driving course to sharpen their driving skills and ultimately get the best performance out of their car. To enter, head to the Ian Diffin City Discount Tyres Facebook page. Welcome back to Zoom TV. Now you're just in time for a lesson on driving, a lesson from one man to another man. Dean, are you ready for me to give you a lesson?
No, I'm not. I'm ready to run that way.
You don't have to run, it's all okay. They've got airbags and stuff, and you know what? The biggest thing is they're not our cars. So
And they're very good, so I'm sure we'll be fine with you at the
but
wheel.
if we scratch it, I think potentially, you know, you've got a bigger name than me, you're a nicer guy than me.
You're going to get me to hand it back, aren't you?
You have a family, I don't. So how about we just jump in the car, and if we scratch it, you take the blame.
Okay, mate.
So Dean, the thing I like about the XT when I get in, and I've always liked about Subaru, is they do keep their layout very basic.
It is, but very functional, and that's the thing. Yeah, now with multi-function displays, the X mode, everything's at your fingertips, which is really handy for everybody.
So steering wheel controls as well, which is great, with especially at the moment with safety, people taking their hands off the steering wheel to, when they do that, will they obviously lose focus?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be focused on the road, so to have everything sort of within reach, so you can really concentrate on driving.
I suppose it's fair to presume not a lot of people would have taken the Forester as a real SUV.
And that's the thing, they are unbelievably good off-road, and it's fantastic on the road and drives like a road car or a sedan that you'd expect. So we're on the top of the hill, mate. So we've got a slight right kick here, but what I want you to do, which will be foreign, is to come off that brake and let the car do the descent. So let's not go for the brake, just off it now, and you'll feel, you're just now having to steer it.
That is
A
different.
little bit to the right to miss a little rock. So there you go.
Whoa. And you can feel, like on the left hand and the right hand, I can feel when it's chucking around the control too, which is good.
Yeah, just liaise it from one side to the other with the braking through the wheel speed sensors effectively.
Now, already what we've experienced on this track is more than some people would put their SUV through. A lot of people would use it as a weekend drive, but with a car like this, I think people underestimate how much fun you can actually have by going to those off-road tracks, taking the family out, having a picnic, putting the whole, all the kids and everything in the back, and just enjoying a day out.
Very versatile, and that's why it's been so popular. I mean, Forester is one of the best-selling Subarus in the country, and that's the reason why.
Okay, now take us through the engine.
The XT's turbocharged as well. Obviously, we've rallied STI. They're a turbocharged boxer engine, and that's part of what this is about. It's the all-wheel drive system working. It's a symmetrical all-wheel drive.
Yep.
That means basically balance at the end of the day. On the outside as well, you can actually see the work that the wheels and the tyres are doing, throwing that sense. Very, very loose the stuff we have here. To the right here now. And
See that response? Look at that.
Oh, lightning reflexes,
Incredible,
mate.
incredible.
Very, very good.
I've got it in my
Late
blood.
call from me
Got it in
again.
my blood.
Just
I'm a
doing
good
it.
driver. You know what, Dean? You're a good bloke.
Thank you
very much for your time.
My
now,
pleasure.
I'm going to be having you on the show a little bit later as a Zoom celebrity hitchhiker, which is fantastic. We'll find out a little bit more about Dino and just actually find out if you are a real good rally driver. What do you reckon?
There could be some dispute.
If you're looking for some fun things to do on the weekend, then listen up. Toyota fans, get excited because it's almost time for the annual Tekwa Toyotas in the Park event in Perth. Down by the Swan River on Langley Park, Sunday, October 5th, this event is all about Toyotas old and new, with some very rare and special models on display. It's free to register and show your car, and there are plenty of prizes to win on the day. To get involved, jump on to tekwa.com. It's been 25 years since Mazda first introduced the MX-5 into Australia, and on Monday the 6th of October you can celebrate all the sporty models throughout the years with the MX-5 Club of South Australia. Get down to the National Motor Museum in Birdwood, South Australia to get involved. You don't need to be a club member to participate, plus if you have an MX-5 it's a great opportunity to talk to some fellow owners. To get all the info, go to mx5-sa.com.au. It's time to squeeze into the leathers, all you motorbike fans, because the Border Bike Fest is back. If you're in Victoria and you're a bike enthusiast, then head to Gateway Lakes in Wodonga on the 12th of October to catch all the atmosphere and great machines from the past and present, as well as a swap meet for the fanatics and casual fans alike. The Border Bike Fest raises money for charity too, so if you're keen to get involved, get the details at motorbikeshowandshine.com. So that's all the Zoom events for this week. Thank you very much for sending through all the info. If you would like to know more, go to zoomtv.com.au. Coming up after the break, Alan Simons introduces you to one of the most popular small cars sold in Australia, the Toyota Corolla sedan. And Roscoe jumps in the Volkswagen Polo thanks to Wangara Volkswagen. That's next on Zoom TV. Do you own something incredible that drives, flies or floats? Then we want to hear about it and maybe even have you on the show. All you have to do is film a short video under 2 minutes long about your car, your motorbike, your four-wheel drive, your boat or your plane and tell us just what makes it so great. Then upload your video to YouTube and email the link to imazoomaholic@zoomtv.com.au. You and your car could feature on the show all around Australia. Plus, if you're the member of a motoring enthusiast club and you've got an event coming up, let us know about it and you never know, we might come along.
At ZoomTV, it goes without saying that we love cars. We love all sorts of different cars for all sorts of different reasons. We love some of them because they just look good. We love others because of their fit-for-purpose utility for moving people or moving stuff that we need to shift. And then there are the cars we love because of their refinement, their quality and their value for money. And when we're talking those three things, we're talking the all-new 2014 Toyota Corolla from the all-new City Toyota. City Toyota moved its Adelaide Terrace dealership to a new and better location in Newcastle Street earlier this year. It's a brand new facility with state-of-the-art equipment and facilities, but with the same extremely high levels of award-winning service you've come to expect from City Toyota and the team here. So, the all-new 2014 Toyota Corolla sedan. This was the biggest selling car in all of Australia last year, and this is the world's most popular small car, and that's why we're here today. Toyota has elevated the 2014 Corolla sedan to a new level. It's one of the best equipped cars in its class for the money. And because it's a Toyota, quality is the one word we can't help repeating. Every new Corolla sedan has as standard equipment a rear camera and rear sensors, cruise control, Bluetooth and a large touchscreen for the audio system. Toyota described the Corolla as being designed for a lifetime of good times. A car for style, for comfort and for pleasure. And when you get behind the wheel, it's very easy to know what they're talking about. Toyota has tuned the steering and suspension on and for Australian roads, and it's a very smooth ride. The 7-speed continuously variable transmission doesn't drone or over-rev like other CVTs because Toyota has added a torque converter to it. The new Corolla sedan has a bigger boot, 240 litres, up 20 litres on the previous model. The rear seats split fold 60-40 so that you can stow those over-dimension items, and the distance between the front and rear wheels has increased 100 mm, giving the rear seat passengers exactly what they need. More legroom, more comfort. All of these things means that this is the biggest Corolla ever built. On the outside, the Toyota looks good, very prestigious. And on the inside, it's packed with technology and everything we expect from a sophisticated car these days. Well, congratulations, Wayne. A brand new dealership right over here in Newcastle Street in the heart of Northbridge.
That's right, so we're at 216 Newcastle Street in Northbridge. Great location and plenty of cars to display.
Well, I see they've all managed to find their way here okay.
It was actually a nice hot day to shift all the cars over, but all the staff have moved over. But importantly, we've invested a lot of money in our service department. So it's got great new facilities and a lot of features for the customers to enjoy.
A new dealership and a new car for 2014.
Yes, so 2013, the Corolla was the #1 selling brand in Australia, and they've introduced a brand new Corolla sedan for 2014.
And it's beautiful. It's slightly larger than the previous Corollas, yeah?
They all get just a little bit bigger, but probably the trick in the engineering is actually the space inside. Yeah. So there's always a lot more space created.
That's lovely, and congratulations on the new dealership.
Thank you.
Head to citytoyota.net.au or follow the links from ZoomTV.
Now, the Volkswagen Polo has made its mark as one of the best compact cars in the world. In fact, this, the 6th generation Polo, was voted World Car of the Year. Now, thanks to Wangara Volkswagen, we're going to be taking a look at the 5-door 77 TSI. And it's going to be interesting to see how good this car really is. The Polo we're driving today has a 1.2 litre turbocharged engine with direct injection, but you do get to choose your power plant as they come with a 1.6 turbo diesel. The petrol engine is tiny compared to the opposition, but nonetheless delivers the goods With 77 kilowatts of power and 175 newton metres of torque, it's definitely no slouch. Not only does the power plant perform, but it's economical as well, delivering 5.5 litres per 100 kilometres. Now the look of the Polo is sleek and modern. Now back in the old days, you could tell quality of a car by the way it sounded when you closed the door. And I'll tell you what, this one's got it. Inside, the trim is of high quality and well thought out. In fact, it's a nice little package. I love the aluminium edging on the vents and instrumentation. The front seats are height adjustable and the leather wrapped steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach. Luggage capacity is a good 280 litres of area with the seats upright and 952 with the seats down. And it does have variable height luggage floor with load securing hooks. Now we're going to do a standing start. Now their figures on paper says that this little car is pretty quick, so away we go. Wow, how about that? We're out of the box like Kathy Freeman. I can't believe it, and it's only 1.2 litres. Now this car has McPherson struts in the front and torsion beam in the rear. And if I was to say it in Australian slang, I'd say this is a nifty little jigger. From a safety perspective, of course, it's got all that you would expect. Electronic stabilisation, electronic differential lock, ASR, which is anti-slip regulation, and 6 airbags, including front and rear curtain bags. Now this engine is something else. Combined with the auto, which is quiet and slick, in fact it changes like that. The suspension is not soft, it's a little firm in fact, but it's nice on the tight stuff, and of course that's all due to German engineering. As I drive this car a little further and push it a little harder, it feels like it's glued to the road and it handles quick changes of direction in its stride. Now, in conclusion, the VW Polo Comfort Line 77 TSI is a beaut little car. So why don't you drop up to Wangara Volkswagen and take one for a test drive. For more information, click on to wangaravolkswagen.com.au. Otherwise, click on to our site and follow the links.
Coming up after the break, I'm back with this week's celebrity hitchhiker, Dean Herridge, Subaru ambassador and rally driver. Next on ZoomTV. Our celebrity hitchhiker today is Dean Herridge. How are you, Dean Herridge?
Very well, mate. How are you?
I'm really well. I've had a great day out here. It's been a lot of fun. I've got a little bit dirty. The car's dirty. Now, you're a rally driver, which is just awesome to see people out there, you know, doing the sport that they love. You've won a few things. Take us through your career.
Yeah, I tell my mates it looks good in the brochure. Lots of hard work there. Look, I'm a second generation driver. At the end of the day, my father, Rob, won a couple of Australian championships and my idol in a lot of ways, and I was able to, luckily enough, follow in his footsteps and started off beating the Hyundais around the bush locally and then nationally, and for the last 12 years been contracted to Subaru to drive in the Australian Championship and found myself in China and the Asia Pacific driving for people like Cusco and stuff like that. So no, it's been a great ride, and like you say, doing something you love, fantastic.
If someone was out there and they wanted to follow in your footsteps, how would they get involved?
Look, it's easy to get involved in rallying. There's some great clubman series here locally. You know, it's clubs that you can join and either become an official and get involved in grassroots motorsport and rallying, and then they can take you right to do the state championship. You can run around to the Australian series, which we have over here in Perth, and then it builds up from there. As you show pace and you try and get a little bit of support on board, you can venture further than that and do the Australian series, and then even better, maybe overseas or make a career of it. But a lot of hard work, and I probably haven't realised, now I'm getting a little bit older, I look back, I must have been pretty keen about it because I've sacrificed a bit over the time and really obviously wanted to be a rally driver at the end of the day.
What was the career highlight so far? Now, you're far from the career being over, but thus far, what's the career highlight other than training me today how to drive?
Well, that's very much up there, so I'm going to have to have a look at that over the next coming weeks. Look, I suppose any championships, to pull together, we won the 2011 Targa Championship, and to have a Subaru beat some Lamborghinis and Jim Richards and his Porsche is pretty amazing. Pacific Cup champion in the Asia Pacific.
Okay, now it's time for the Sander Fast 5. I know you're sweating. Okay, so what was the first car you ever owned?
First car I owned was actually the family car that I sort of half inherited, was a Rover, 3.5 litre V8. A 1983 model. It's actually a good-looking car.
Okay, the second question is, what is your opinion of the best car on the road and why?
For me, I love the GT Liberties. Turbocharged. I mean, I get to drive STIs and WXs in spirited motorsport and that a fair bit. So what I think I like about the GT is it's almost one of those cars with a bit of luxury involved.
Okay, this is the big one. This is where it comes down to. Let's see how many friends you have left after this one. What's your opinion of the worst car ever made that was on the streets?
I'll tell you a car I don't get it. I've never driven one. I don't get for particularly Australia, is a smart car.
Okay, now, second last question. What car do you drive today?
I'm very lucky to be driving a GT Liberty.
And the final question, what is your greatest fear?
Yeah, not being good enough is a bit of a fear. Whatever that is, in life, in rallying, in motorsport, not being good enough. I aim pretty high.
Okay, well, I'm going to wreck all of those. I think you're a great bloke. I've had a great day. But there is something me and the crew want to tell you, the reason this car is parked here and we haven't picked you up because we've run out of fuel. So while you go and get a jerry can, I'm going to wrap the show up. Thank you very much. You've been a great bloke. Well, that's our show. Now, before we go, if you've got a business or a product to do with things that fly, drive or float, go to our website, look at our packages, because we'd love to have you on the show. And a quick thank you to all the people that have submitted their events over the last couple of weeks. We've loved hearing about them, giving them a plug on the show. We've even attended some of the events, which we've really enjoyed. Until next week, bye for now. Thanks for watching. And remember, whatever you do that Zooms, make sure you do it safe. And that's a wrap.